Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty epic,
Mm-hmm.
the hero's journey.
Always a good one.
Yeah, and to help us really explore this idea,
Yeah.
we're going to be looking at someone you might not expect,
Okay.
Bilbo Baggins
Oh, interesting.
from The Hobbit.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I actually was thinking about this the other day.
Okay.
You know, when you really look at his story,
Yeah.
you can see how perfectly it fits this classic hero's journey structure.
I completely agree.
It's like Tolkien was following a blueprint, you know,
Right.
like Joseph Campbell's work,
Yes, exactly.
the whole monomyth thing.
It's all there.
It's amazing. And you know what's really cool is that you actually sent over some really interesting material about Bilbo's adventure.
Right.
And we're going to be using that to kind of guide our discussion today.
Fantastic.
So let's jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
So to start off, you know what's really interesting about Bilbo
Yeah.
is that he's not your typical hero.
Right.
You know, he's not this like big, strong warrior or a king or anything like that.
No, he's very unassuming.
Exactly.
He's just a hobbit.
He's just a hobbit who loves his comforts.
Right. Enjoys his food and his pipe.
Exactly, like a good meal,
Yeah.
a warm
A
fire.
cozy armchair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
I think he's actually a lot like us
I think so too.
in that sense.
Yeah. We like our comfort.
We're like a routine.
We like our routine.
Yeah.
And, you know, change can be scary
Oh, absolutely.
for all of us.
Yeah. So let's quickly set the scene for anyone who might need a refresher on The Hobbit.
Okay. Sounds good.
So we've got Bilbo Baggins living his peaceful life
Mm-hmm.
in the Shire, right?
Yep.
Everything's great.
Beautiful place.
He's got his garden.
Yeah.
He's got his books.
His afternoon tea.
Exactly. He's happy.
Content.
But then,
Gandalf shows up. Uh-oh.
the wizard,
This wizard.
Gandalf the Grey,
Gandalf the Grey, yes.
always stirring things up.
And he invites Bilbo on this quest, this grand adventure to reclaim this dwarven treasure.
A treasure guarded by a dragon, no less.
From a dragon, no less. Smug.
Very fearsome.
Extremely fearsome.
Yeah.
And of course, Bilbo's initial reaction is like,
Oh, I can imagine.
no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good here.
Right. I'm quite comfortable where I am.
Got me out.
But that reluctance that he has,
Right.
it's actually a really important part of the hero's journey.
Absolutely. It's that first stage.
Yes.
The call to adventure.
The call to adventure.
Right. It's that moment when we're presented with something that could, you know, lead to amazing things,
Yeah.
growth, new experiences.
Right.
But it also means leaving behind what's familiar.
Right. Stepping outside that comfort zone.
Exactly.
And that can be terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially for someone like Bilbo.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. And, you know, it makes me think about, you know, in our own lives,
Yeah.
how often do we get those calls to adventure,
Mm-hmm.
those opportunities to do something new and different,
Right.
but we hesitate?
We hesitate. We get scared.
What are we afraid of?
Yeah. What's holding us back?
It's a good question, right?
Yeah, it is.
So Bilbo,
Mhm.
he eventually agrees to go.
He does.
He musters up his courage,
Somehow.
and he steps out of his door and leaves the Shire
Into the unknown.
into the great unknown.
Yeah.
And you know, thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
for a hobbit like Bilbo,
Yeah.
that must have been absolutely terrifying.
I can only imagine.
Like leaving everything he knows
everything familiar.
and every
One routine.
and mood, his
His
comforts,
pantry
all of it
full of food.
gone.
Yeah.
It's a big step.
It's a huge step.
Yeah.
And what's even more interesting is that, you know, he's not like
Yeah.
some fearless knight.
Right.
He's not a warrior.
No.
He's
Hey,
scared.
He's afraid.
He's anxious.
He makes mistakes.
He definitely makes mistakes.
He complains
Oh, he complains a lot.
a lot.
But you know what? He keeps going.
He does keep going.
That's the thing.
That's the important part.
Yeah, and that really speaks to, you know, the idea
Yeah.
that real courage
Uh-huh.
isn't about not being afraid.
Right.
It's about being afraid
Yeah.
and doing it anyway.
And doing it anyway.
It's about facing those fears.
It's like choosing to act
Yes, exactly.
despite the fear.
Yes.
So he's on this quest.
Okay.
He's facing all these dangers.
Mm.
And there's this one scene
Okay.
that I always think about
Yeah.
where he encounters Gollum
Oh, yes.
in this dark cave,
Creepy.
and he has to solve riddles
Right.
to escape.
Very clever.
And, you know, it's more than just
Yeah.
a clever escape scene.
It is.
You know.
It's so much more.
It really shows Bilbo's,
No, what does it show?
like, his
It's
intelligence.
his wit.
His wit.
His resourcefulness.
His resourcefulness, yeah. And he's using those skills,
Right.
not strengths.
No. Not brute force.
Brute force to survive.
All right.
And this actually reminds me of something you mentioned in your notes about how you're really good at problem solving.
Well, I try.
And thinking outside the box.
Got to use what you got.
Yeah. And it's like, just like Bilbo's using his unique strengths to overcome challenges, you're doing the same thing.
I like to think so.
In your own life.
Hopefully.
Yeah. You're leveraging your skills to navigate difficult situations.
Absolutely got to be adaptable.
Right. And it's so easy to think that we need to be super strong or powerful to overcome obstacles.
Right.
But Bilbo shows us that sometimes a sharp mind can be the most powerful weapon.
It's true. Sometimes the quiet ones are the strongest.
Exactly. So as the journey goes on, he keeps facing these fears.
He does. He encounters a lot of scary things.
And he grows from those experiences.
He does.
Like, for example, there's that scene with the giant spiders.
Oh, yeah, in Mirkwood.
In Mirkwood.
In Mirkwood.
That's a creepy scene.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
He's absolutely terrified.
Right.
But he still manages to save the dwarves.
He does.
He shows incredible bravery.
He does. He steps up.
He really does. When it counts. That scene always reminds me of that time when I had to give that big presentation.
Oh, yeah.
At work. And I was so nervous.
I bet.
I mean, I was sweating.
Yeah.
My heart was racing.
Oh, yeah, the adrenaline.
But I had to do it.
Right.
I had to face that fear.
You did it.
And I did it.
Good for you.
And, it wasn't about being, like, physically strong or anything like that. It was about...
It's about...
digging deep.
Finding that inner strength.
And finding that inner strength.
That courage.
Courage, yeah.
That we all have.
And speaking of facing fears.
Yeah.
Bilbo's encounter with Smaug, the dragon guarding the treasure.
Yes.
That scene reveals.
What does it reveal?
Like another side of his courage. He doesn't try to fight Smaug head on.
He's not that foolish.
Right? He uses stealth and cunning.
His brain.
To infiltrate the dragon's lair.
Yeah. He thinks it through.
He does.
It's strategic.
It's like he's reminding us.
Reminding us of what?
That there are so many ways to be heroic. And sometimes the most effective approach isn't the most obvious one.
Exactly. Sometimes you got to be a little sneakier.
It's not always about brute force.
No, it's not.
It's about being adaptable.
Yeah.
And strategic.
Thinking outside the box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this leads us to what might be the most critical part.
Our climax.
Of Bilbo's journey.
Yeah.
The moral challenge.
So he's faced all these external threats.
Right. The spiders.
The goblins.
The warrens. Gollum, Smaug.
But now he has to confront an internal one.
Oh, interesting.
Greed.
Greed. Okay.
So Thorin.
Yes. The leader of the dwarves.
The leader of the dwarves.
Right.
He becomes obsessed.
With the treasure?
With the treasure.
Okay.
And he's willing to go to war.
Oh, wow.
To keep it all.
For himself.
For himself.
Oh, okay.
And it would have been so easy for Bilbo to get caught up in that too.
Right. To be blinded by the gold.
To be blinded by the gold and the jewels.
After all he went through.
Right. Especially after everything he's been through.
To get it.
But he doesn't.
He doesn't.
He does something incredible.
What does he do?
He recognizes the destructive power of greed and chooses to act against it.
Wow. Okay.
He gives up.
He gives up what?
The Arkenstone.
The Arkenstone, the most valuable.
Jim and the Horde.
Wow. He gives it away.
To try and prevent a war.
To try and stop Thorin.
Try and stop Thorin.
From going to war.
Yeah, he's willing to sacrifice potential wealth.
Yeah.
For the sake of peace.
For the greater good.
And what he believes is right.
Wow.
It's a huge decision.
It is. It's a selfless act.
And, it makes me think about what you were saying about that tough choice you had to make.
Oh, yeah.
At work, where you had to, kind of put aside your own personal gain for the good of the team.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do what's right.
And it's like Bilbo is showing us that sometimes true success isn't about material wealth. It's about making those tough choices.
Right.
And staying true to your values.
Your morals, your principles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So eventually he comes home.
Back to the Shire.
To the Shire.
Yeah.
But he's not the same Hobbit.
No, he's not.
Who left?
Right. He's changed.
How has he changed?
Well, For one, he's not content anymore with just comfort and routine.
Right.
He's seen too much.
He's experienced too much.
He values wisdom over wealth now.
Interesting.
And his perspective on the world has completely changed.
He's grown.
But
there's also this sense of,
yeah,
he doesn't quite fit in anymore.
Right.
Right?
He's not the same Bilbo.
That
left the Shire.
And that can happen.
It can. When you go through something big.
When you go through a transformation.
Yeah.
You can outgrow old habits. Relationships. Even places.
Right.
And it can be
lonely.
But it's often necessary.
It is.
To become who we're meant to be.
Right. It's part of the process.
It's part of the hero's journey.
Yeah.
And, ultimately, Bilbo's journey, even with all the struggles and the sacrifices, leads him to a richer, more meaningful life.
More fulfilling life.
Yes. Yeah. And so if Bilbo, this simple hobbit, can go on this hero's journey and emerge transformed, what's stopping us?
That's the question, isn't it?
From doing the same.
Yeah, what's stopping you?
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
What if you were offered the chance to go on an unexpected adventure? What would hold you back?
What would be your dragon?
What would be your small?
Yeah, what would be that thing?
And what kind of hero would you discover yourself to be?
That's the real question.
It's a great question to think about.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, this was fun.
Into Bilbo's hero's journey.
I always love a good hero's journey.
It's been a really inspiring reminder that adventure and transformation is possible for anyone, even those of us who might feel like very hobbits.
Extraordinary hobbits. Yeah. That's a great point to end on.
Yeah. Thanks again for listening.
See you next time.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.